Will the House of Frost and the House of Stark be joined in holy matrimony during one of the darkest times in mutant history? Well, let's hop into the pages of X-Men issue number 26 and see if we can hear any wedding bells are ringing. Alrighty then, so this newest X-Men issue, much like the last couple issues of Jerry Duggan X-Men, are kind of all over the map, taking place in the past and present simultaneously. We hook back up with Wilson Fisk the Kingpin and see where he was the night of the New Mutant Massacre, how he lost track of his beloved wife Typhoid Mary, and assumed her dead along with the rest of the mutants who disappeared during the portals that night. Of course, Typhoid Mary isn't actually dead. In fact, you can go read about her adventures right now in the pages of Realm of X if you're so interested. Needless to say, though, an enraged Kingpin doesn't stay mad, he gets even, and he decides to join forces with Emma Frost to help coordinate and bankroll a brand new mutant revolution against Orchis. Though classic Kingpin, he makes it apparent to Emma that he isn't doing this out of the goodness of his heart. He's only doing it because they have a common foe, and the second they don't anymore, he's gonna be looking out for number one all over again. They also re-invoke the retcon that there was a time when Emma Frost actually worked for Kingpin, doing his dirty deeds and wiping people's minds. It was with Emma's help that Wilson was able to become the new White King of the newly established Hellfire Club. The club is actually serving as a staging ground, not just for mutant activities, but for the activities of their allies like one Tony Stark, who was humbled in his own battle with Fei Long. Over in the Iron Man book, in case you haven't been reading it, it's also being written by Duggan right now, and so Iron Man is trying his best to lay low and play like he's drunk. I also don't think the books have come out and said it yet, but according to solicitations and previews for other issues, he's the new Black King of the Hellfire Club too. Emma Frost is also masquerading as Tony's new assistant and trying to support him in his plan to build some sort of countermeasure to take down the brand new Stark Sentinels. Mostly though, they're just getting on each other's nerves. Emma wants Tony to carry a message to Firestar saying that Kitty Pryde is out there and probably going to be trying to kill her soon, still believing her to have betrayed all of mutant kind. We also get a fun little snapshot to see what's going on in the Miss Marvel book right now. It seems that Orchis propaganda is really bleeding its way into everyday life as Miss Marvel has to protect a woman with alopecia from getting beaten up by a group of anti-mutant thugs who believed that she was a mutant just because she was different from them, which is sadly not too much of a stretch at all. If you know anything about hate crimes, you know this thing happens all the damn time. From there we transition on over to Shadowcat, who is still in full-on ninja bloodlust mode. She manages to sneak aboard the Orchis space station orbiting Earth, with plans to assassinate Firestar and escape back to Earth. Of course, what we the reader know is that Angelica isn't actually a traitor at all to mutant kind. In fact, it was Jean Grey's idea with her last dying breath to mess with Dr. Stasis's mind, to make him think that Angelica was always working as a sleeper agent inside Krakoa, when in reality she's actually a triple agent trying to use her newfound position to funnel important information back to the mutant freedom fighters. That is, of course, if she can keep her head long enough when a vengeful Kitty comes to collect it. Firestar tries to tell Shadowcat the whole story, which she fully admits sounds completely insane, and it's only when she's done does Kitty think, yeah, you know what, that does actually sound like a pretty damn Jean thing to do. Angelica also won some points too by saying, look, if you're gonna kill me, at least make it so I explode, so maybe I'll take down this whole ill-begotten space station with me. Firestar might have saved her skin today, but unfortunately she's still in the hot seat right now. It's not like Kitty can just take her back to be with the rest of the mutants. She needs to keep doing her mission, and Shadowcat can't actually share any information with Firestar either, because the only way mutant kind is gonna survive right now is by acting in cells. Meaning that no one leader can have too much information, so no one under duress can end up outing the other. But hey, Angelica doesn't have to die, so mazel tov, I suppose. Kitty meets back up with Emma to talk about their next course of action. Shadowcat still very much has a hit list that she's trying to whittle down, including Stasis, Fei Long, and anyone else who was attached to the mutant massacre. Emma, though, just wants to rescue Cyclops from wherever Stasis has him stashed. Speaking of Fei Long, he's actually attending this Hellfire Gala party right now, and it takes Emma using all of her self-control not to just strangle him where he stands. In fact, she might have too if Tony didn't step on in to stop her. After all, he's playing his own game of cat and mouse with Fei Long over in his own book right now, and he hopes that Emma will help by reading his mind, even though taking off her special little ring could end up activating her powers again and getting her caught. What happens next is truly hilarious. Emma and Tony argue some more before Emma decides to kick him in the junk, meaning that when Fei Long busts in the room, Tony's down on one knee with a ring in his hand and his assistant in front of him. Yes, this is really how they're playing this. And it's on that note right there the comic comes to an end, everybody, and so that was X-Men issue number 26, an issue that was a little all over the place, but one that I most certainly enjoyed. I think it's funny that Marvel is making so much of this big Iron Man Emma Frost wedding that it's even bleeded into other parts of nerd culture, and yet if you're actually reading the story, not only is it a marriage of convenience meant to fight Orchis and strengthen both mutant kind and Tony Stark's position, but now to find out in this issue that the whole reason they got married at all is a misunderstanding accident, just mwah. This actually reminds me very much of the type of stories that Jerry Duggan would write over on Deadpool when he wasn't afraid to slaughter a lot of sacred comic book cows and also take the piss out of a lot of classic comic book conventions, and what bigger comic book convention than the big bloated comic book wedding. Shadowcat's story continues to be a lot of fun too. I actually really appreciate Kitty spelling it out for everyone in the cheat seeds where it's like, yes, these books feel a little disconnected at the moment, because they literally have to be by necessities. If all the mutant teams came together to fight Orchis right now, they would end up making themselves a much bigger target, so they need to operate in little cells independently of each other until they're ready to make that next big move. Overall, I think I'd feel comfortable giving this one a 7.5 out of 10, and if you want to see what happens next in this Emma-Tony marriage arc, be sure to pick up Invincible Iron Man number 10 when that drops. Hey there everyone, it's your pal Cape Joel again, and if you're seeing my face right now, that means you watched to the end of the video, and I'll always be grateful for that. Retention helps in this crazy YouTube game, and so does becoming a patron. If you head on down to the description, you can find a link to my Patreon page. Recently just redid all the tiers, a lot of cool stuff offering up there, exclusive commentaries, exclusive polls, behind the scenes concept art for Capes and Quest, that's the brand new D&D show I've started soon. Never been a better time to become a patron. You can become a patron for as little as $1 a month and help the channel grow and, help me continue to deliver content like what you just saw. So I want to thank you all, and I will see you again next time. Bye-bye.